Christmas and New Year break before I fly back to New Zealand and very excitingly continue some more sections along the Araroa Trail, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. At least they're the areas I'm hiking, long distance hike. So I thought I would chat and do a bit more of a review on my Altra shoes that I've been using, because in the past they've been my absolute favourite hiking shoes. There are two particular models that I have been wearing for the last 2 years, and that is the Altra Lone Peaks 9 Plus was my last version, and these are the Altra Mont Blancs. Now I'm just focusing on these shoes today, the Altra Mont Blancs, and just wanted to say that in the past I've had nothing but absolutely fabulous experience with these shoes in particular. They've done, I tend to buy, when I buy a pair of a particular model of shoe, I usually order 2 or 3 of the same model, because if I like them, I really like them, and I found these supremely comfortable. And in the past I've had fabulous experience with them, and then I've had a really disappointing and downright very difficult time with this particular model as well. So in the past, the positives have been that I've hiked all throughout the Australian Alps, 6 weeks solo backpacking trip, climbing probably 30-40 summits, lots of granite, a bit of shale, lots of crazy ascents and descents, all sorts of mixed trail, river crossings, you name it. And these shoes have performed really well in those conditions, and also in other areas in Australia, through rainforests in southeast Queensland. This model I've worn also in Tasmania. And then I chose to wear them for the Richmond Ranges in the South Island of New Zealand, and I didn't have the same experience at all. So if you have a look at the videos, you'll see my day 5 link quarter to Havelock. That was day 1 of these brand new shoes out of the box, just like this brand new pair. This is the 3rd pair I bought in preparation for the TRL. So day 5 was my first day, and if we count them through, here's my 2nd day, 3rd day, 4th hiking day, 5th hiking day, 6th hiking day, 7th hiking day, and my 8th hiking day in the Richmond Ranges would be my Mount Rintle day. And unfortunately, the moment I stepped foot on Mount Rintle, the soles, I think it was on the left shoe, peeled away. Can you see that? Now, this is what a brand new pair looks like. So you can see those 3 stripes are missing. Also the tread, don't know if you can see side on of the tread. Maybe if I put them side by side. 8 days of hiking. 8 days. So the issue was that the tread peeled off. And when I bought these, and I've never realised before that these soles, actually the construction, yes, they're Vibram soles, but they do consist of a 2-part sole system. First you have the orange section, and then these black sections are glued over the top, or fused over the top. I'm not sure of the actual process, but the point is they come in 2 parts, and I didn't realise that at all when I selected these trainers. Now, let me qualify this by saying the Richmond Ranges are notoriously difficult on shoes. They're going to shred any sort of hiking shoe or damage any sort of hiking shoe. I had expected these to get shredded along the fabric here. And the reason for that is that the Richmond Ranges all consist of extremely sharp, shaly rocks. So part of the issue for me and for the shoes actually is partially due, the reason why they failed, I believe, is there are two reasons why. Number one, that it's a two-part construction, and obviously whatever they've used to adhere the black bit didn't work. But the second part of it is that I would think that the way I walk, because I don't have any sensation in my feet, the way I'm walking when I'm walking descending a slope downwards, my shoes and the whole body, just like every other hiker, is moving. You know, we're sort of skidding down these very sharp rocks. So you would expect there to be damage. And then again, when you're walking uphill on those very sharp rocks, you're sliding backwards, downhill again. So walking this way, you're sliding that way on scree that's very sharp, ascending, sliding back down. So the nature of the Richmond Ranges is extremely tough on any hiking shoe, and I always expected that there'd be quite a lot of damage to my Altra Mont Blancs, the shoes that I've absolutely loved, that I find extremely comfortable. I certainly didn't expect that from brand new shoes that with only 8 days of hiking on them, whatever the terrain is, 8 days, that I would lose these parts here. Now the effect of losing those on that sort of terrain was a very difficult situation for me to manage personally. The scree, the Richmond Ranges is full of scree, full of boulder hopping, full of very loose, rocky soil, full of that sort of terrain with big ascents, big descents, and so it meant that I was slipping and sliding everywhere. And as you would have seen on the previous videos in the Araroa section on my day 22, episode 22, you'll see that I had a significant fall, fell on rocks on my head. I've still got a depression in my skull there. I had done what I thought was just a twisted right knee. Turns out orthopedic surgeon has diagnosed with scans meniscus damage to the right knee and also to the left knee. Grade 2 on this knee, grade 1 on that knee, doesn't need any surgery, needs physio and rest and repair. Had I been wearing shoes where I had plenty of grip on there, I'm absolutely certain that that wouldn't have happened. So I just thought I'd film an update for these particular shoes, because in the past I've absolutely loved them. As you can see, I have a brand new pair here, and I will be looking forward to walking with them, doing backpacking in other types of terrain that aren't as aggressive as the Richmond Ranges, because they meet all of the other criteria for the hiking that I do. You know, I want a trail runner that has good grip, that I do not want shoes that are waterproof. I want the water to be able to flow through freely and dry freely. I want it to be, the shoes to be nice and comfortable. I really enjoy the wide toe box. They give my toes plenty of room to move around in there, and I do like a zero drop trail runner. So I will enjoy these. Doing training back here in southeast Queensland. They'll be being used on other sections for lots of other backpacking, but certainly not on terrain aggressive like the Richmond Ranges in New Zealand, Nelson Lakes National Park, Arthur's Pass region, any of those really high-end ones, or Breast Hill Track, any of the areas where you have crazy or steep ascents, steep descents with lots of loose, sharp rocks. So there we have it. That's the situation with these little beauties. And I suppose you'd like to see what I have swapped to, so I'll go and get those for you. So when I was still in New Zealand recovering before I could fly back to Australia, if you remember, I was staying with the wonderful trail angel Jill, and we had some very extensive talks about what sort of shoes might suit the rest of the Araroa. And we already knew that that shoes like the Hoka Speed Goats were unlikely to suit the Araroa, so I ruled them out. They were my other backup that I also would really like to have, but not suitable like these. And Jill chatted with her friend who owns one of the hiking stores in New Zealand, hiking shoe store, I should qualify that, and explained what had happened. She'd taken pictures and videos of these shoes, and he had confirmed that any brand where they have this 2-layer system do fail in the Richmond ranges. So it's not just my beloved Altra Mont Blancs that fail in that section, it's any that have this 2-layer sole on them. And after a bit of toing and throwing, you know, my criteria was I wanted a wide toe box. First of all, I wanted excellent grip and chunkier grip than these if possible, a 1-layer system, all made in one. I prefer a wide toe box, and I also prefer 0 drop, but they had to be non-waterproof. I don't want anything to do with waterproof shoes, and I certainly am in the trainer version of shoes. I don't wear hiking boots because they give me terrible blisters, no matter who fits them, no matter what size, no matter what brand. So in the end, we came down to the Topo Traverse shoes. And the reason why these were selected, they didn't meet all of my criteria. The reason why they were selected in the end is several of my friends who have hiked the Araroa Trail, a couple of them are Kiwis, and a couple more are Australians. They all swear by these shoes and said, look, these work really well. So the benefits for these shoes, like the Ultras, they have a vibrant sole. However, in this case, it's a 1-layer all-in-one sole. So there's no section that can come off. They're just going to wear down naturally over time. However, they do not have a wide toe box like the Ultras, so we'll see how that goes. And they have, I think it was, you might need to check the specs on these. I think it was a 5mm heel stack on these. So they're not a 0 drop, which I prefer as well. I have noticed that with my Ultras that I have more of a minimal area around the heel, which I really enjoyed, loved that. Whereas these are quite firm, lovely padded around the heel. The heel comes in a bit, where the Ultras tend to stack more upright. And so I have been wearing these around the house. I'm not allowed to do a heap of weight bearing at the moment, so we'll see how these go. Like all shoes, it is always tricky to find the right match for you. So hopefully these will do really well. Don't have all the features that I really love. However, they have the most important feature, which is, or 2 features. They're not a hiking boot, they're a hiking shoe. And they have an all-in-one layer, very chunky, aggressive sole. So we'll see how these go next on the Araroa Trail next week. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now. Happy hiking!